Kevin Stefanski's toughest call yet. Could naming Shedeur Sanders QB1 break the Browns' locker room? Introduction: Crisis in Cleveland. Kevin Stefanski has never been here before. Since becoming the Cleveland Browns head coach in 2020, he has weathered storms, injuries, suspensions, quarterback controversies, and still managed to keep the team competitive. But this year feels different. The Browns aren't just losing, they're unraveling. A heartbreaking 17-16 Week 1 loss to the Cincinnati Bengals could have been brushed off as bad luck. But a Week 2 collapse, a 41-17 drubbing at the hands of the Baltimore Ravens, turned frustration into panic. Cleveland is now 0-2, staring at the possibility of an 0-3 start as they prepare to face the Green Bay Packers, who boast one of the league's most efficient pass rushes. And now, the quarterback questions are deafening. Has Stefanski lost faith in veteran Joe Flacco? Will rookie Dillon Gabriel leapfrog him in the depth chart after his impressive late-game cameo? And most controversially, could Shedeur Sanders, the most talked-about rookie quarterback in football, actually be given the keys to the offense? The Browns' quarterback carousel, a history of heartbreak. To understand why this conversation is so charged, you have to look at Cleveland's tortured history at the game's most important position. Since 1999, the Browns have started more than 35 different quarterbacks, a revolving door that has come to symbolize the franchise's inability to achieve stability. From first-round busts like Johnny Manziel to brief flashes of hope with Baker Mayfield, Browns fans have seen it all. So when Cleveland traded up to grab Shedeur Sanders in the 5th round of the 2024 draft, it felt like a potential turning point. Sanders wasn't just another prospect, he was a name, a player with pedigree and swagger, the son of NFL Hall of Famer Deion Coach Prime Sanders, and a quarterback who had been projected as a first-rounder before a rocky final college season saw his draft stock tumble. Fans saw him as a possible future franchise QB, but the Browns coaching staff saw something else. A raw, talented player who needed time. Week 2 fallout. A quarterback crisis. Everything changed in Week 2. Down 31-10 with less than 5 minutes left against Baltimore, Stefanski did something he had resisted all season. He pulled Joe Flacco. In came rookie Dillon Gabriel. And in just one drive, Gabriel went 3-for-3 for 19 yards and threw a touchdown pass. A meaningless score in a blowout loss, but a spark that ignited a firestorm. Talk radio shows lit up. Cleveland fans flooded social media demanding a change. The pressure on Stefanski to bench Flacco intensified, and the conversation quickly shifted from Gabriel to Sanders. Was this the moment to turn the page and go all in on the future? Lance Riesland weighs in. That loses a locker room really fast. On 92.3 The Fan, Cleveland coach and analyst Lance Riesland delivered a message that should make Stefanski think twice. Yes, I absolutely think that would be a panic move, especially against a defense like Green Bay's this week, Riesland warned. I'm not a big believer in playing a guy just because you want to take a look at him. That loses a locker room really fast. That's when you talk about culture. This is where Stefanski's dilemma becomes razor sharp. Stick with Flacco too long, and you risk the season spiraling out of control. Bench him too soon, especially for a rookie who might not be ready, and you risk losing the trust of the veterans in your locker room who want to win now. It's the NFL's oldest coaching dilemma. Develop or compete? The Shedeur Sanders question. Shedeur Sanders is at the heart of this drama. Drafted as QB4, he entered camp behind Flacco, Gabriel, and Kenny Pickett. Pickett's trade to the Raiders cleared some room on the depth chart, but Gabriel quickly took command of the backup job. Sanders showed flashes in the preseason, impressing against Carolina in his debut, before a more humbling outing against the Rams reminded everyone that he is still adjusting to NFL speed. Yet the buzz never stopped. Shedeur's name trends almost weekly on social media, and national analysts have been quick to compare him favorably to next year's draft prospects. Emory Hunt, a respected NFL analyst, went so far as to say on the Ross Tucker podcast, Shedeur and Cam Ward are far and above better than whoever the top quarterback would be in this class. You have people that get hung on these names like Garrett Nussmeier and Drew Aller. Everyone is just recycling these names. That's an endorsement that carries weight. But endorsements don't equal readiness, and that's where Stefanski's challenge lies. Locker room dynamics, the risk of losing the veterans. NFL locker rooms are delicate ecosystems. Veteran players, especially those in their 30s, often have short windows to compete for a championship. When they see a coach pivot to development mode too early, frustration can boil over. Reese Land spelled it out clearly. You're not in the business of developing during the season. You're in the business of winning football games. With Flacco right now, watching him every day, he's better than those guys. So if they get to the point where they're as good, then yes, they should probably get a look, especially if they're losing. But if they're not there yet, I don't think they play until they're ready. You don't play just because you need to take a look at them. If Stefanski were to name Sanders QB1 before the team believed he had earned it, he risks sending a dangerous message that decisions are being made for PR or fan appeasement, not merit. And that's how coaches lose locker rooms. The Joe Flacco problem. Flacco's numbers speak for themselves, and they aren't pretty. Through 2 games, he has posted a career-worst -1.60 EPA per dropback in late-down situations. The Browns' offense looks stale, predictable, and punchless. At age 39, Flacco is no longer the gunslinger who led the Ravens to a Super Bowl title. He's a placeholder, but for how long? Stefanski knows that keeping Flacco in the starting lineup buys him some time to keep developing Sanders and Gabriel behind the scenes. But if the losses keep piling up, fans won't want to hear about the plan. They'll want action. The Packers test, a make-or-break game. All of this sets up a massive Week 3 showdown with the Green Bay Packers. The Packers have been dominant up front, posting a 61.8% defensive rush success rate, one of the highest marks in the league. They've made life miserable for opposing quarterbacks, collapsing pockets and forcing hurried throws. If Flacco struggles again, the calls for change will become deafening. And that's when Stefanski will face the decision that could define his tenure as Browns head coach. Stay the course with the veteran or throw Shedeur Sanders into the fire. The bigger picture, Stefanski's job security. Kevin Stefanski has been one of the more stable figures in Cleveland's chaotic modern era, but NFL owners have short memories when it comes to losing streaks. Go 0-3, and the temperature on Stefanski's seat rises. Go 0-4, and whispers of a mid-season change could start to circulate. In that scenario, starting Shedeur Sanders might be as much about self-preservation as development. Conclusion: the fine line between bold and reckless. There is a thin line between a bold decision and a reckless one. Naming Shedeur Sanders QB1 this early could change the trajectory of the Browns season, for better or worse. If Sanders plays well, Stefanski looks like a genius who saw the future and embraced it. If Sanders struggles, Stefanski risks losing credibility with veterans, fans, and maybe even his job. For now, Stefanski insists he is sticking to the plan. Sanders is developing, Gabriel is next man up, and Flacco is still the starter. But everyone in Cleveland knows the truth. The leash is getting shorter, the noise is getting louder, and the moment of decision is coming fast. One way or another, Week 3 could be the turning point that defines the Browns season, and perhaps Kevin Stefanski's legacy.